Today's Saturday project, we'll be doing an oil change on a GMC Sierra. This is the 5.3 liter V8, but the procedure should be the same on similar models. You'll obviously need oil. In the bag I have even more oil because this motor takes 6 quarts. So this is 5 plus the 1 quart that's in here makes 6. You will need a oil filter, and already under the vehicle I have an oil pan and a funnel, and you'll also need a oil filter wrench like this one, and I'll show you why once you actually go up under the vehicle. There are 2 types of oil filter wrench. There's this one with the band, and then there's another one that resembles pliers. The ones with pliers will not fit on this vehicle, and again I'll show you why once we go under. All right, so you know you need to change your oil when the oil life remaining indicator will tell you. Mine says I still have 5% left. I'm going to go ahead and change it now though, because it's been over 1 year since I last did an oil change, so that's why. But normally you would not change the oil in these General Motor vehicle until the vehicle tells you that the oil needs to be changed. And the reason being is because the vehicle itself will do calculations based upon how severe you drive, whether you do short drives or long drives, and a variety of other factors, environment, so forth. And so based upon that, that's how it calculates that oil life. All right, so under the vehicle, and here is the oil filter. And so remember I said you will need the one that has a band on it to get this oil filter off, and the reason being is because they have positioned this oil filter to be right next to the oil pan. So if you use like a traditional set of pliers, you won't be able to get all the way around to actually twist it off. So again, you need the band oil filter removal tool, and then on this side is the oil plug. And this is on the passenger side of the vehicle. This is the driver side of the vehicle, and of course right here in the middle is the motor. This is a 15mm head. Remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So loosen it out and the oil will drain. Once the oil drains, then you'll take the filter off. So the oil has been drained. As you see, the oil plug, I haven't tightened it back up yet, but the oil plug is back in. All you gotta do is just twist it off. So you tighten this back up, and so make sure you don't cross thread this, because if you cross thread this screw, the new oil that you pour in will leak back out, and the worst thing that will happen is the motor will seize because of the fact you cross threaded and all the oil ran out. So now that I've gotten the oil out, and I have to tighten this up with the 15mm socket that I have. So tighten this back up, and then I will drain out, I will take off this oil filter, and even more oil will come out of here, and then put the new filter on. Ended up making a mess trying to get the oil filter off, but I had to wipe it all down afterwards. And so, because the oil, as I managed to get it off, the ring that I had is slightly too big for the filter that goes on here. So I ended up having to use the pliers anyway. And once I started pulling it, it started dripping like that right there. And so I just let it drip off as much as it would, and then wipe off this inside of the oil pan here, the frame here, and this strut bar that's here, because oil got on all of those things. And so yeah, so now I'm gonna put the new filter in. When you put the new filter in, it is best that you put oil on the gasket that's on there first, and that will seal it on this round piece, this outer round piece here. Make sure that it doesn't leak. I also, when I put new filters on, I pour oil into the filter directly, and that way when you go to crank the vehicle, there's oil already in the filter. And so if you go crank the vehicle with no oil in the filter, that first amount of oil that goes into the filter will actually be soaked up by the filter. So that's why I always pour oil in the filter first, and then fill up the rest of the vehicle and then crank it. All right, so filter on, plug needs to be tightened, and then we'll go to the top of the vehicle. All right, next step is to put oil back in the motor. There's a cap, this one here, and so you unscrew it, and then it goes into that funnel there. This is the same funnel that I had earlier. Put that in, pour your oil in, then put your cap back on, and this yellow handle here is the oil dipstick. And so all you have to do is pull that out, and at the end of the dipstick you will have little markings. So let me show you. All right, so there are markings on the end of the dipstick, and so basically when you put this in, you want to make sure it's at the high level marking, and once it's there, then you know you have the right amount of oil. Ideally you would do this on a flat surface. This driveway that I'm in is not a flat surface, so you have to do your best measurement based on the slope of the surface. You can also always move the vehicle to another flat surface and check it there. From the oil life remaining screen, to get to it, you just press this, I guess it's the vehicle info button. And so you cycle back around until you get to it. There you go. And hold the button down here. And there it is, it resets back to 100%. And so you're only supposed to do the reset after you change the oil in the vehicle. That way it can accurately track the type of driving you're doing with that current set of oil. Also, after you change the oil, you want to check the oil gauge if you have one. This vehicle does have one. Make sure it's not reading 0, because if it is reading 0, then you have a leak or something's not been tightened up. So as you see, mine is what, probably 30, 35. So I think that's pretty good. That's about normally where it is anyway. That will wrap it up for this video. If you have any questions, please drop those down in the comment section below. Be sure to come back next week for another Saturday project right here on the Almost Engineered channel. My name is Kenny, and until next time, peace out.